So these are two of the more interesting Chromebooks I've seen at the moment. This is the Lenovo 300E and 500E. So they are both convertible touchscreen Chromebooks with interesting features that kind of do distinguish them a little bit from some of the competition, I guess, at the moment. But one of the things, particularly for us, is the price on this one is pretty amazing. So they, in terms of specs, this one's obviously an Intel quad-core N3450, which is pretty standard, so I guess it's the same as the high-end Spin 11. It has many features similar to the Spin 11, so it has the Stylus, but this time it's built in nicely, so it's not going to get lost as easily. It has the tablet camera in here as well, so that you can take photos when it is in tablet mode. It's 4 gig of RAM, 32 gig of storage. The Google Play Store obviously working perfectly well on this one. It's not super slim, but it is built well. It's drop resistant to a certain degree. It's got water drainage holes in terms of I/O. So it's Type-C charging plus only one Type-C port for expansion. It's a USB-A, micro SD, and headphone. Actually, two Type-C. My apologies. Two Type-C, two Type-A, and then other controls and a Kensington lock. The I/O is slightly less on this one. It still has the same Type-C. HDMI. It's got a full-size SD, which is more useful, I think. But then Type A there. Then this side has nothing apart from just the power and the lock slot. The interesting thing with this one, with the 300E, is that the screen is tuned in a certain way to allow you to use just a regular pencil as a stylus. And I'd seen this in some of the stuff beforehand, and I kind of figured it was going to be a bit of a gimmick, but it's really awesome and it works really well. So if we bring up a little note here just in keep, then you can see it's actually really responsive, and it works really well. There's no pressure sensitivity like there is in that one, but it does work really well, and I think for the purposes that we need, this is going to be great. So a little bit of note taking. You could do some nice photo touch-up work, perhaps in something like Pixlr Editor on here, but it's going to be pretty great actually. So yeah, quite a nice little feature to have extra on there. The stylus on this one obviously is going to give you you get a pop-up here on the screen. Then you actually get a note-taking pop-up if it's going to work. So here we go. So we can create a note here, and look, I mean, it's definitely a better pressure-sensitive piece on there. But for what we need, I think I'm happy enough with that. And the replacement cost of this is probably going to be a little bit less than this. If you're doing artwork, then perhaps if you're using some Autodesk stuff or some other bits or some of the Android apps, then maybe the 500E is the way to go there with that. But in terms of actual performance, though, this one obviously is touted as being a higher end model, but I was running benchmarks on them, and in terms of speedometer benchmarks, they're not far apart at all. This one's scoring about 42, 43. This one was landing in at about 40, 41. So very similar between the two. So the fit and finish slightly better on this one. I think the general surroundings here look a little tighter than maybe on this one, but it's still very, very solid, this machine. So super impressed with it. In terms of costs, I think this one's been put out as like $279 US, but the price we're getting in Hong Kong is actually less than that, which is that never happens. So that's really awesome. So the price on this is the best price I've seen on a Chromebook, particularly in this region, in a very, very long time. So yeah, I mean, this is actually, we've decided in relation to other models at the moment. So we've been trialing the Spin 11, the Acer Spin 11. We were given a dual core model, which is awful. That N3350 CPU just doesn't, I don't know if it's the fact Chrome's becoming more multi-threaded, but that dual core really doesn't cut it, nowhere near like these ones. This one's actually an ARM-based quad core. It's the MediaTek, same one as the Acer R13, and it really does perform well. It's snappy and everything loads great. So the Spin 11s, you know, it's more expensive than these. The high-end model is probably equivalent to this one, but it's a lot more expensive. The low-end model is something I wouldn't buy, to be absolutely honest. So I think for our younger students that are having these, so these are going to be a one-to-one program for our 8 and 9-year-olds. Are going to be receiving this one from the new school year in August, and I couldn't be happier, to be honest. We've saved money on it. It's a really great model, so highly recommend looking at these two if you are looking for Chromebooks at the moment for your school.